So in this topic's video, we will be discussing mental health. I'm here with Maya,
Hello.
who will be discussing the topic with me. So first of all, I would like to ask you if you believe that mental health is a taboo and why or why not.
I feel like it's not a taboo, but it's not discussed as much as it should be. Like often people don't consider it a serious issue, and even though it should be, because your mental state is just as important as your physical well-being, and just being able to think right, I guess.
Okay.
It's important.
So you don't really think it's a taboo, but you think it should be discussed more than it is.
Yeah, it should be recognized as more of a significant thing in our lives.
Another question is, do you believe that mental health issues such as like depression, anxiety, primarily depression, do you think it's a first world issue that people in the first world suffer from it more than people living in like third world countries?
Well, I wouldn't say it doesn't exist in third world countries, but I think it's more prominent in first world countries, because I feel like people, unless like they're born with it or if it's like a hereditary thing, then I feel like people are depressed about like unsuccessful job or bad social life, or those are the triggering things, I suppose. And in third world countries, I feel like people already have less, so they're happy with what they have. In a way, I'm not saying that they can't be depressed or that they can't wish that they had more, which they definitely can, they should have more, but I don't know, I just feel it's more of a thing in first world countries.
I agree. I think maybe people in third world countries, they like have less time to really like think or something. That they, like, a lot of people have quite a lot of free time like in first world countries to like think and like contemplate, and I think a lot of people just start to like overthink things, and then it just makes them unhappy or something.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I also feel like people in first world, they have more things to be unsatisfied about, or it's like it takes more for them to be satisfied. Like, for example, one person might be depressed because he can't afford a better car, but give a car to a third world person who's lived in a slum all their life. So I feel like it's relative in that sense.
Do you think that education on like that teaching kids our age or younger should about mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and like everything, that should be mandatory at school, or do you think they learn it elsewhere?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying, but our kids our age are usually, school is related to their mental state, so if they're more depressed or anxiety, they're more likely because of school. So I feel like the school should take some sort of responsibility in making sure that they are aware of their students' mental state, and that they're teaching us that it's okay to talk about it, or that it's okay to feel that way, and that they try to help us.
Not alone.
Yeah.
And maybe that they should also offer help, like
I think all schools should have a qualified counselor
that they can go to with their problems to discuss it.
Yeah, and someone that actually listens, and tries to do something about it, because often the case is that there is a counselor, but they're not really doing anything, they're just there, I suppose.
Often you hear people that have mental health issues, and then they're sent to the school counselor, but then they can't help them because they just don't really know what they're doing. So
like, I also often find that like teachers don't generally care, or they also think that we're joking. Well, to a certain extent, sometimes we are joking, like, oh, kill myself or stuff, but they don't really care. Like, I feel like teachers should pick up on certain signs. Like, I often hear like, oh, I didn't know they were depressed, or it didn't seem like it. Well, you should be able to see if they're not
Yeah.
as talkative anymore, or if,
Yeah,
they're,
there are common signs that
yeah. So,
I think some people that have never experienced like what it feels like to have real anxiety issues or depression, they just really don't understand, and they can't see how it can affect someone so much, and how
Yeah.
like painful or difficult it can be.
yeah. And I mean, there are real issues. I mean, so many
Mm.
people suffer from it. And if it's not treated, it can get so much worse.
Yeah, and it can just build up
And go into
Yeah.
alcoholism, drug abuse.
addiction. Yeah, and
Yeah.
just trying to find ways to escape how you
Mhm.
feel. Alright, there's an interesting question that Mira had thought of, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I think society has kind of already established an answer to that. But that was whether you think depression is a dysfunctional way of thinking.
I mean, if you know you're thinking that, because sometimes you can't help those thoughts. I feel like, so if it's just the way you are thinking, then I guess it's not. I mean, yeah, depends a bit.
Yeah,
But
it's
if
a
you,
weird.
yeah, like if you
weird
know
question.
about it, or if you're like, oh, I'm sad, okay, I'm gonna think more sad thoughts, or I'm gonna behave in
Yeah.
a certain way that will just make me more sad.
Yeah,
Then it's dysfunctional. Yeah.
maybe that that the feeling itself in a way becomes addictive or something.
Yeah.
That if you're aware of it, then in a way I guess it is. But I think in many cases also that it's just like a disease.
Yeah. I guess like you're so used to feeling that way that when you're not sad or when something good happens to you, you're not capable of appreciating it anymore because it's so much outside your regular spectrum of feelings, I suppose.
Yeah, or you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Do you think that mental health has also become more of an issue like in the last generation, or do you think it's just become more spoken about, like, or?
Yeah, it's become more spoken about, but I also feel like it's become trendy in a way. Like, I'm not saying that everybody that's depressed or has anxiety is doing it for the clout,
Yeah.
but I feel like certain people are like, oh, I'm so emo, I'm so depressed.
Yeah, I haven't had an emo phase yet, but yeah, many people have that.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's become more generalized, I suppose, or like we understand more of it now, so maybe that's why it's more talked about. But I feel like older generations don't understand it as much. Like my parents don't understand the idea of anxiety. They're just like they can't grasp the fact that I'm like too nervous to go up and ask someone for a drink, like
they just don't
they don't
or
get
they
it.
just tell you to like get over it.
Yeah.
I think like if we like look at our grandparents, that they
No.
like I think amongst them it's also like a pretty big taboo topic. Like it's not spoken about.
It's pretty rare as well. Well, I know my grandpa had depression for like a few years, but because he lost his job, like it's a first world problem. But now he has it back, so he's fine now. But
maybe the reason why like we hear about it a lot less like back then is that it just wasn't spoken about or something.
it wasn't defined, I feel like.
Or it was just like something you just had and people didn't really know what it was or something.
Yeah.
If you feel as if someone is struggling with depression or anxiety, how do you think one should approach them?
Well, with anxiety, I would say if you know something makes them anxious, just try to do it in a different way. So, for example, don't keep asking them, how are you, or are you okay? Like, if you can clearly see that something's bothering them, just say like, oh, what are you thinking? Or is there something you want to get off your chest? Or, because often I feel like, are you okay? It's like, or like, I have so much to say, but yeah. Or if someone's depressed, I think you can generally see the signs to a certain extent.
Yeah. I mean, some people are better at like hiding it than others. Some people it's quite obvious, and then some people it's like the people you would least expect.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's even the super like extroverted that seems so happy and everything, and then you like hear that they're suffering.
Their life is actually crap.
or that they're just like suffering from like it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it should be that like if you see that someone's depressed, it's like, are you depressed? Or like, do you need my help? Or just in like subtle ways.
Yeah, and
it's a tricky thing because you don't want to invade their space,
but you want to help
them.
You
want to help,
and for everyone, like different things help different people as well. So it's difficult.
Also, I think you get depressed after a certain time, so you can't just say like, ooh, something inconvenient happened, I'm depressed now. So I think it happens after a continuous state of sadness. I feel like.
Yeah. Like it goes on for a
I think there are many different reasons why someone would be depressed. Like
I guess it just varies from person to person.
It's what breaks you the most, I guess, or having a broken home or I don't know, social life.
Yeah. To conclude this discussion, do you think that we should like make it less of a taboo and speak about it more amongst each other, and like do you think that would help people that are suffering from it to like open up and seek help? And
I think we should talk about it more, and we should make less of a joke out of it. And also I think we need to normalize the idea of people going to see therapists or going to see someone that can help.
That's a whole other like, because people it's kind of seen like a I don't know, how would you say that, like a taboo, like a bad thing to like go
like
see a therapist. Like people don't like it's not but it should be what you said, it should be
it should be normalized. And I think we should be more cautious of the way we treat other people, because we can't know how others are feeling, or we don't necessarily know what our actions might cause other people to feel. So I think we should be more cautious as a society, and
okay, well thank you very much for
anytime
discussing this topic with
yes